Hi there YouTube, Extreme Trains here. In this video we're taking a look at another one of the re-released 2019 push-along/2026 Metal Collection engines. In this video we're taking a look at Rosie. Now Rosie is interesting because she's a character who got quite a bit of merchandising pushed towards the end of the CGI era and then disappeared when we went into All Engines Go. So I'm very curious to check this version of her out, particularly because it's my first experience with her in this style of toy. So what are you waiting for? Let's do it. Here is Rosie. We'll blast through the packaging very quickly. Metal collection, yes. Rosie, picture, yes. The red, yes. Although this render is not quite right because it's missing the lamp. So I suspect that this is the pink Rosie render, but they've just like changed the colors to red rather than actually getting a render of her red version, which is really weird because the actual toy does have the little lamp on it. So random. All right, and then the back of the box, boring as always, but yes, it does say 2026 right there in that little writing. All right, let's crack him open. All right, here is little Rosie. Come look at the face. I don't have the previous version of Rosie. Some people have suggested that the face details are different. They very well might be, I don't know. It is interesting she doesn't have the pink blush. I can't remember if that actually disappeared in the show when she went red, and so she just had the freckles, but yeah, that's what her face looks like. It's a fine face. Disappointing that there's no painting on, again, the buffers or on her lamp, which I think would be quite easy to do. And again, you can see that while she is helped by having those, again, thinner wheels of the new style, she is still so thick down the bottom. It's very, very annoying. And then you come to the side view, again, you can see she's got the new wheels. The proportions are going to whack, and I don't know why they did this with all these engines. They had this weird thing where they kind of were happy for the funnel to poke up, but then they weren't happy for the rest of it to poke up. If her cab came up to the height of her funnel, even if they were in line, it would just be a massive game changer to how these engines looked. But the problem is they look like they've been hit by a steamroller, but only like kind of half hit by a steamroller. Like, it's so weird how they let the funnels kind of pop up above the rest of the engine, but they didn't let the rest do it, because I think all the details are there. They're all right in terms of, we've got some gold lining, we've got that printing on the side with the relevant details, we've got the shapes, all the right shapes are there, including her funky little coal bunker, but they've just been all squashed and compressed, so they really get kind of lost in the, you know, in your eyes. Visually you lose the impact of them because they're all kind of squished together, and so disproportionate to the size of the ginormous wheels. And again, you come down to see Rosie at the bottom, and then yeah, we've kind of done the spin. Compared to the Thomas, it's crazy that these are being sold in the same box, and I say that because, I mean, obviously this is the one from the Walmart exclusive pack, but the weight of this Thomas is just, it feels like twice as heavy as this. And so, like, if you're picking these both up, this one is so much more substantial, and you can just see, I mean, this is a great example of what they've done here. You can just see how giving Thomas that extra bit of breathing room in terms of his body, the shape, the detailing, the cab in particular, it just makes this such a fantastic model versus this, and it's such a shame that they, you know, I mean, it's one thing that they've re-released them, and I know why they've done it. It's because they're trying to just, I think the reason they've done this is because they're trying to continue the CGI energy into 2026. I have spoken to some people who know more about this than the general public, and without telling, you know, breaching confidence as to what they've told me, my understanding is that at least the draft plans for the 2026 project are much closer to CGI than what All Engines Go was. It wasn't all the way back to season 19, season 20, but it was in that direction. And so I think they're perhaps trying to, you know, milk out the CGI toys until they have their actual new show ready, and then they'll probably do a relaunch of the toys then at that time. So I get why they're trying to, you know, drip feed out these old molds, but yeah, it just was such a poor decision to be made back in 2019 when they made these, to screw up these engines, because these Tank engines are so easy to get right, and they can look so good, and yet poor Rosie looks so bad. So yeah, Rosie's certainly not the worst of these engines, but she's certainly not that good. This version of her is much better, I think, with those narrow wheels, as I've been saying consistently throughout these reviews. But unless you really, really want a Rosie, and particularly a red version of her, as she appeared later in the CGI series, I think this one is another skip, unfortunately. So, yeah, that is what it is. Once again, thank you very much for watching. Let me know your comments down below. That's all we've got time for. This Extreme Trains.